Hello and welcome to Social Cup. This week I'll be joined by Stephen Howson and Ped Mcpartland. We'll be discussing whether it really is a two-horse race between Liverpool and Manchester City for the title in the Premier League this season. We'll be looking at Arsenal and whether they will be given the time to be able to evolve into a side and can they make top four. And finally we'll be having a little look at Everton versus Wolves and the impact of Richarlison on that Marco Silva side.
I'm going to start with you, Howson, first and foremost, because I know that you're a little disgruntled that we've not mentioned Manchester United in this one. Is it a two-horse race in the Premier League already? I can't even say it with a straight face, mate.
You lot and your giddiness, oh my days. Yeah, because Klopp took you from fourth to fourth, so it's obvious the next progression is to win the league, innit? My
two sides who've looked
God.
clearly better than everybody else, though.
Liverpool look good, but how many times have you slapped West Ham 4-0? It's like a running joke.
I think that's the fourth on the bounce.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll hold.
So that's not really a signal for impending championship, is it? If it's happened repeatedly.
But genuine question, do you think anybody else can win this league?
Yeah. Look at the way, Ped mentioned it earlier, when Chelsea won it a few weeks in, Conte, when he first came, looked finished and was like, Italian, can't handle it. Wins the league.
The difference now, Ped, is that you've got two sides who are starting the season like they've ended the season.
Yeah, but that's the difference for me. It's because Liverpool have started up playing against 11 fellas who aren't a football team, not even a football club, are they, West Ham, let's be honest about it. City play Arsenal again. You know, for you two teams, it's been a perfect weekend because you have just gone on. It feels almost like the season just continued. The World Cup was there. The footage just kept flowing. There's no I don't think there's any real excitement about this season around because it just feels like it's a continuation. I think that was very much the case for Liverpool and City over the weekend. Everyone else has got, apart from Tottenham, of course, has had some kind of change within the club. It feels like everyone else has got something to do, and that will take the next 3 or 4 weeks to settle in. Will Liverpool and City get such an advantage in the upcoming weeks that it won't matter?
I think the general consensus is that there was two teams going into this week who looked head and shoulders above everybody else. Now, I'll be honest with you, I think there's one team that looks head and shoulders above everybody else, and I personally think that's Manchester City. I think Liverpool can win the league title, but if City have any win, like 100 points again, Liverpool aren't in the race.
Well, if they go anywhere near 100 points, none of us are in the race.
Exactly, and that's the difference. But the general consensus is that it's Liverpool and Man City. It's not me saying that it is. It's what everybody else is talking about.
Can I just throw Chelsea in? Just because I think they've had a great start to the season. Going away to Huddersfield, winning 3-0, very comfortable. A lot of the issues there last season seem to have dissipated because the manager's left.
Still in number 9 though.
They do, but what I'm saying is though they've had just as good a start as Liverpool have had. Maybe even better because they've gone to an away game, comfortably won. One of the new signings has done well in the game, and they've started off very well. So they could be in the mix if they can get their house in order and with the new manager. But it will take time for them as well. But
they've got previous experience of winning it in that squad as well. That always comes in handy.
And they've got previous experience of all the changes that happen when you get a new manager. So I wouldn't be writing them off after game one, even though they've got 3 points.
All right, who's the best equipped? Let's open it up then. It's not a two-horse race anymore because clearly the Everton fan and the Man United fan aren't happy that, you know, Liverpool have been lumped in with Manchester City.
I know that might come as a shock to you.
I know, it's a shock, isn't it, really? Who is the best equipped to win the league this year?
City. By a mile. And it hurts me to say it, but City are... If City don't win it, the team that finishes above them win the league. It's as simple as that. I do not expect them to finish lower than second. I think it's possible because people forget. People always talk about Jose Mourinho meltdown. Pep Guardiola walked away on his boyhood club. If anyone could have a meltdown, he's had it pretty easy as a manager, hasn't he? But those occasional little wobbles that we've seen, even in that first season when they came third, when he does start to have a wobble, it unravels pretty quickly. So if they hit a sticky patch, they get a couple of unfortunate injuries, they come up against someone who gives them a slapping in the Champions League, that could unravel a little bit. And it's whether they've got the fortitude to be able to take it because they've never retained it. Retaining it's meant to be harder than winning it. So
I'm not sure about that.
But you know what I mean? It's often said, isn't it? The mark of a champions is once you've got that gold badge, everybody wants to take a swing at you. And when people are starting taking swings at you, that's when it's hard, and that's when the cream rises to the top. I fully expect Manchester City to retain their first title this summer. If they don't, admittedly think you guys have fixed a lot of your problems, but I think the main problem is still, can Jurgen Klopp adapt to play a different style of football when plan A doesn't work. Because
do you think that's something that Pep Guardiola's been able to do?
No.
Yeah,
be honest,
he's managed to win the title.
He has managed to win a title, but I also think that team as it was better than all the rest of the league anyway, and then he's added to it, and then he's replaced what he's added to, and I think no one else has been backed as well as he's been backed, and he's been very fortunate in that sense, and I think that they are comfortably ahead of everybody else, and it's only themselves that are going to ruin this. Otherwise, I don't think they're getting 100 points again, but I think they'd be in the 90s.
Do you think, look, I'll use Liverpool as an example here, but also Wigan beat them in the cup last year, didn't they? Do you think more teams are going to go out and try and say, look, we're going to get slapped 4-0, we may as well have a go?
Yeah, I imagine so, because you're going into a game where everyone's already written you off, so why wouldn't you have a go? But then there's self-preservation. A lot of managers don't want that massive, let's say it goes the other way and you get beat 4-0, 5-0. Wigan had nothing to lose in the FA Cup. Liverpool could match them. Klopp seems to have that formula of beating City. But that's because Liverpool have got some really, really good players.
Out of the two sides, I think Manchester City, Ped, are probably looking at it, and I would say that they need to do something in the Champions League this season. They want to do something in the Champions League this season. They want to grow commercially their club, and that's probably the easiest way to do it. Do you think they're equipped to walk the league and win the Champions League?
No, I don't think anyone's equipped to do that. I've said this for a while. I don't think English clubs are set up to win the league and the Champions League. I just think our league's far too tough. It saps. You look at this season. We've already. Why did the Premier League start this weekend? Why didn't it start like in 2 weeks, another week or something? Why we come back so early after the World Cup when teams have still got players missing from the World Cup, and then those players will come straight back, and then they've got this long tiring season ahead, and we set ourselves up to fail all the time. But the thing that interests me with City, and this is the difference between City and Liverpool, is Man City don't seem that bothered about the Champions League. Their fans aren't. It doesn't get them excited when the champ. Liverpool,
I think, and I don't know if this is the same for Everton and Liverpool, but I think they always saw the European thing as a United thing. But I don't know if that's the same.
Well, it is. I think that's what it is. I think with Liverpool fans, they know they've got the pedigree in the Champions League. They're known for the Champions League. Man City don't have that pedigree, so if they fail in the Champions League, I don't think it's as bad, and it's almost expected. The Premier League is where they need to catch up, where they need to be, trying to.
But this isn't about the the fans. This is about what the manager prioritises as well here.
I think the owners would like
and the
to
owners
prioritise.
exactly.
But I think it's a
a
mentality thing now. I think you've got to get that mentality shift. When you played Manchester City in the Champions League, we've seen what happened. We've seen the way Liverpool fans, in the majority, welcomed the coach in, and there was amazing scenes. I know. Listen, a couple of dickheads tried to spoil it. Listen, I am one Evertonian who thinks how what Liverpool fans do on those nights is amazing, because
I'm jealous. I wish we did that.
But I've been there before. I've been on like protest marches before the game. Slightly different, but I've been on like protest marches before the game, and I've seen how the atmosphere generated from that can carry into the ground and gets everyone going before you even start. It's not about the football, and I think those nights, whereas Man City the week after, it was fucking nothing. There was nothing. Fans just trundled in.
They had Manchester, which can be seriously intimidating.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, fair enough.
They had some toilet paper as well.
Okay.
But that's the difference. Man City fans, they turn up and they sit
Which,
down.
to be fair, look good.
They sit down and it's almost like, right, entertain us. Where Liverpool fans said the week before, no, we are part of this. And I think that's the difference. I think Manchester City fans, and maybe it's either in you or it's either in you or it isn't. I think for a lot of clubs, they just don't have that, and maybe they need to start doing that to give.
They do wave bananas though.
And they wear inflatable shark hats or things, whatever. I mean,
Culture, eh?
No, there you go.
Move on to the Arsenal stuff. I think this is something that probably interests a lot of people. I know I personally went onto YouTube, had a little look at Arsenal Fan TV.
Oh, is that still a thing?
Oh yeah, YouTube. Oh, it's flying, mate.
That's
flying.
That's good.
It's absolutely flying. Arsenal Fan TV is still a thing as well.
There's no such thing as Arsenal Fan TV anymore.
AFTV.
AFTV.
You got to get Brandon right.
You got to get Brandon right.
He had a word. Someone had a word like, can't use Arsenal.
Do Arsenal have the quality to qualify for the Champions League, Ped?
No.
They do if there's like 5 teams disqualified from the Premier League.
Like a dream team scenario where mad things happen to them. People probably don't even remember dream teams.
It's Manchester United.
What I would say about Arsenal is that I don't think they should be judged on day one. Number one, they're playing Manchester City, who beat them 3-0, 2 games in a row within a week last season, and it's a work in progress. I think he's brought a lot of workman-like players to the club, and I think that's exactly what they need. And it's about building a side now. What Emery does compared to what Wenger does is night and day in terms of football. It's a complete shift, and I really don't think anyone should judge him on day one. I don't think anyone should judge Arsenal till after Christmas. I hope they're rubbish, because I think we can benefit. Personally, Everton, from them being rubbish, because I think if there's anyone to drop out the top 6, it'll be them. But I think it's going to be change this season for the fans, and it's not going to be that much of a change, as they'll all be moaning. But the Arsenal fans have got to be patient, I think. And listen, this is what they've been calling. But this is what they've been calling for.
Yeah, they've got what they wanted.
They've got what they wanted. So let the man get on with his job. And as I say, these are going to be a team that it's going to take time to get all those aspects over. Not all the Arsenal players are going to enjoy playing for Emery.
I think Chelsea are the same. I think his style of play is going to take it's the opposite style of play, but I think it's going to take a long time to get him to the sort of level that we saw him playing over in Italy, which was, it was hipster 101 football last year, wasn't it? It was fantastic. That's why it's hipster 101. You can't be hipster and win stuff. Think about it.
Pep might argue.
So what do you reckon about the defence? I think, Maitland-Niles comes in. I think he's a right winger normally. He's playing left back. Walker's had him all day. I think the centre halves look pretty slow. Is this something that you can see improving over the next couple of months, or are they just not good enough players?
I thought, much to a lot of Arsenal fans fume in the comments, which is not going to improve today, sorry, that they bought really ordinary players. I didn't think they bought a player where you go, ooh, he should be at a top 4 club. Certainly not as a starter. Like, I thought Torreira's a good footballer, but he's a good footballer in the sense that I think Fred's a good footballer. Fred's not come in and just gone, I will be starting every game and I'm going to carry you. I think he's an addition to a midfield. And I think that's what Torreira is. I don't think he's that Roy Keane style leader that's just going to take the dressing room by the scruff of the neck. I don't think he's anything like that. I know they're asking for patience. Will he get the patience?
I think he might do. Just from the simple fact that, they've been wanting this for 3 years. Or thereabouts, and I think everybody realises that it's not just going to change overnight. You've got 20 years of Arsene Wenger that you need to write out of your history. You need to change the way that they're playing. I think they've got a good manager. I think he's bought reasonably well. I think he's been able to identify the problem areas and trying to sort them. Whether he's bought the right players is it's a different question. But he's gone goalkeeper. He's gone centre half. He's trying to change that midfield up and put a little bit more bite into it. Now it might take time, and these players might be good enough, but they will need that time. I think everybody agrees on that. Yeah. It's not an easy project. Patience needed.
There's 4 or 5 really, really good football teams that are going to be late stage Champions League this season, you would think. But only one gets to win. And for the teams like Everton and Arsenal and possibly Chelsea or Spurs that are looking to try and squeeze in that 4th spot, like 3 and 4 into 1 does not go. And there's going to be a lot of clubs that have to adjust expectations, and United could be one of them this season, to be honest. It's going to be brutal at the top.
Let us know what you think on that in the comment section below. Moving on then, I'll come to you first on this one, Ped. Obviously, we're going to talk about Everton and their start to the season. Obviously, Everton but incredibly well, I feel, on deadline day. Richarlison goes straight into the side. What did you make of this new look, Marco Silva, Everton?
Obviously, the game playing Wolves away, it was all about Wolves, all about the players they bought. All the media, it's all about Wolves are going to finish top 7. Yeah, do me a favour. So it was going to be interesting to see, and I thought we played really, really well, and there was a complete shift in styles from last season. I think we had more shots in 50 minutes than we did under Sam Allardyce last season. We took the lead twice in the game. Obviously pegged back, but we played with 10 men for 50 minutes, and I thought we played really well. I thought it showed real signs of where we're going, and we only started one player who we'd signed. The 4 we brought on deadline day not ready, and Luca Dean started on the bench. So I think there's a lot of optimism around at the moment.
Obviously, Richarlison comes in, a lot of money spent by Everton on this lad. I think everybody knows that, if you look at his football stats from last season, he was incredible while Marco Silva was there at Watford, struggled after the fact. Silva's got this relationship with him, spends the money on him, brings the lad in, fills him with confidence that he's trusting in him. He's disregarding maybe the second half of the season, gets the start, gets the brace. Now you've got to be looking at it and going, we've got a talent on our hand.
You've just got to see the way he conducts himself around Evertonians, and I was at the game last week, the friendly against Valencia, and he stayed out for about 15 minutes after the game, just walking down, signing autographs and getting pictures. You just don't see that very often anymore. He sought out a kid in one of the stands who had one of those horrible signs saying, "Please give me your shirt." But she had done it all in Portuguese, so fair play to her. But she'd had this sign in a game the week before. And he went out and found the girl. He gave a shirt to someone this week after the game as well. He just seems to be...
Kitman fuming.
Yeah, Kitman's going mad. But he seems to be really on board with it. And that's exactly what you want from a player. That's what gets you over with the fans, as I say to you. If you're on board, he loves the manager, which really helps as well. And so far, all the players we've signed have said that relationship with them, and this is something that Liverpool have experienced with Klopp. Every player he seems to go after, doesn't matter what stands in the way, he'll get them because those players,
it's the right fit.
Those players straight away are like, I've been on the phone with Klopp, allegedly, and he's told me exactly how it's going to work and how we are going to go, how I'm going to play in the team. I think that's the thing with Silva. I think no matter what anyone thinks his shortcomings are as a manager, I think that players genuinely like him, and I think he explains what their role is going to be in the team and how the team is going to benefit from that. And I think as a fan, that's really exciting as well, because what that seems to mean is he actually has a plan, not like the Joker last year, who brought in a load of players and then just went, sort yourselves out, lads.
Howson, what can Everton achieve this season?
They've got to take it one place at a time, haven't they? They've got to look at Arsenal as a scalp, and they've got to say, we've got to get over them. And then whatever happens after that, happens after that. I think top four's probably a stretch too far. They could get over Arsenal, I think.
Okay.
I completely agree. I'm not going to sit here saying we're chasing the top four by any means. In fact, if you'd asked me this time last week, I was really worried because we haven't made the signings. But I think now we've made the signings in the right areas. They're all going to take time.
It feels like he's got to give Silva time, whatever, Mashiri. It feels like he's finally got the guy that he wanted originally. Yeah. Is there a worry among the fan base that what if he's got his guy and it's wrong, or are we all in on it? Are Everton fans all in on him?
Fans want attacking football. Listen, we finished 8th last season, comfortably with football that was just awful. We want a little bit more, and I think fans now are thinking, actually, we've got that base level, that default that we'll be all right to finish 7th, 8th anyway. So we can elevate ourselves, chase after Arsenal. Maybe try and go for that 6th place. I think that's what fans will be on board with. It's going to take 3 or 4 windows to just change the style of the player, because that's essentially it. It's the style of the player. You can have 11 best players in the world, but if they don't fit the way you want to play, then it's not going to work. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time. And I'm hoping he gets it, because I think the players now that you talk about, the players we've signed, we've actually got a decent squad now, and it's looking a lot better.
Final question, Howson. Did Wolves play into Everton's hand a little bit in this game? I mean, they looked to me like they had an opportunity to get something out of the game. Obviously, they score. It's like that. It's double jeopardy, isn't it? You get your man sent off, they score from the free kick, and then they just sort of flooded the midfield or flooded the defence.
There's potential tactical naivety from both teams, and that's the criticism levelled at both managers, is that sometimes they don't know when to close the door. But you know what? Let's have it, because I'm sick of all the teams that get promoted coming here and just trying to 4-5-1 it and nick a goal. So who cares?
They went 5 at the back when Everton went down to 10 men. I didn't get that.
Their tactics were mental. I just couldn't understand for the life of me. When
they gave you the ball
when
as
they
well.
went 2-1 behind, they put 2 strikers on. Yeah. I would have put the minute it went 60th minute and it was still 1-1. I would have just gone, right, let's just have a go with these now.
Doesn't make any sense to me. Let me know what you thought of the tactics in that game and anything else we've discussed in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to Ball Street on YouTube.